The MCU hype is in full effect. Captain America Brave New World just hit theaters, and the speculation is rolling on all titles. Thunderbolts is making waves with Sentry leading the charge, and the Fantastic Four key issues are still heating up. Which books are the collectors chasing this week? And let's find out. Top Trending starts now. All right, our trending list here. We got some books that were literally put in the last minute. I always ask you, take a look at what you see there and tell me what you think.
Of those four, I can pretty much tell you why all of them are there. Really, Mark Spears, Say No More, the Spider-Man cartoon, it's amazing. It's so good. Sentry is Thunderbolts trailer, and Fantastic Four is Herbie from the trailer.
Yeah. All right. With that said, let's take a look at what came in. Let's see what came up number 10. Number 10 is Earth X. Number 12. This came out in 2000 for Marvel Comics. The last recorded sale of this book was $115 at a 9.4. Fair market value of this book is at $38 raw, and the 9.8 just dropped, believe it or not, $218. It's on the trending list for key collector number 6, number 10 for CBSI. Did not make the cover price list, and the sales volume is at 46%. The hype level of this book is now a high because of Fantastic Four Spec. We talked about this last week, and we'll probably be talking about these books for a while. And what do you think she's going to look like?
I'm really hoping that it's like a little bit of a bait and switch with Marvel, where it's going to be from another universe most likely, but that the Silver Surfer, as we know him, Norrin Radd, will be revealed at some point. We all know that the Fantastic Four has taken place in an alternate universe, so I think this will be the Surfer from that universe. So I'm hoping that once they cross over, whatever happens, we get Norrin Radd as well.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, it is a bit of a bait and switch where we're going to see Norrin Radd eventually. I'm more curious of how they're going to design the hair.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? If she's going to be a Silver Surfer, is the hair going to be loose? Is it going to be like a one piece? Yeah, that's where my question comes from, really.
That's going to be really interesting. I hadn't thought of it before, but now that I am, that's going to bother me, because in comics, obviously in that medium, it's static. And you can have the hair be whatever you want from panel to panel, but in a movie, it's going to have to actually do something. That'll be interesting to see. That's a good point.
Yes, that's my take on that. Besides that, let's see what they do. It is an interesting take on Silver Surfer and where we're going to take this. It's an alternate universe, so therefore, who knows, right? Let's take a look at our next book, number 9. Fantastic Four Annual number 6. Another book that came into our list, and it's 1968 from Marvel Comics. $33 raw sale was the last recorded sale. Fair market value of this book is at $94 raw, $244 for a 6.5. Now, when I mentioned the fair market values of these books, these are the most common costs. They're not necessarily near mint. They're not necessarily, high grades. So there's all depending on what CovrPrice is saying is the fair market value. On the trending list is not on Key Collector. It was number 4 on CBSI, and it wasn't in CovrPrice. But the sales value of this book was at 59%. Again, all-time high with the hype level, same as the other one. It's Fantastic Four hype. This is the first appearance of Franklin Richards, who is the son of Ree and Sue. So do you think we're going to get Franklin in this story?
I think most likely. I mean, part of the reason for this book being on the list is that there's rumors that Franklin is the reason why Galactus has his sights on this Earth. So whether he did an experiment or because of whatever abilities he might have. If that rumor turns out to be true, then everybody buying this book will be happy. If it doesn't, then they won't.
Yeah. Well, here's what I find interesting is that if you look at the advertisement of the movie, you'll notice that Sue's name is Sue Storm and not Sue Richards. Because if it's set in the 60s, she would have changed her last name. I'm just saying, that's common back then, right? People didn't keep their married names. So assuming that's the case, they're not married. There are scenes where they're in bed together. And again, that's odd for the 60s generation, especially when they're trying to showcase this family. So we could be seeing the fact that they are married in this movie and Franklin has been born. So a little bit of that stuff going on. Just thinking about the optics of the time and the era, really.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see.
Let's take a look at number 8 in our list. Captain America 25. This book came out in 2014 for Marvel Comics. $19 raw was the last recorded sale. Fair market value is $16 raw, $84 for a 9.8. It was not on Key Collector. It was number 6 on CBSI. It was not on CovrPrice, and the sales volume of this book is 82%. Hype level is high because we just came off of the number 1 movie in the world, Captain America: Brave New World. Did you get a chance to see it, Shane?
I did. So my kind of spoiler-free thoughts are, it was okay. It was good. There was nothing in it that, was that wow thing, like Thor smashing Captain America's shield, or, Iron Man, Thor and Captain America battling, all the Thanos stuff. Like, there wasn't anything like that where you're like, wow, this is awesome. It was more just, hey, you know what? It's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that seems to be the overall consensus of the movie, that it's fine. It's not earth shattering or anything like that. And there's no real moment in the movie where you have this, oh my goodness, situation, right? There is a nice little cameo here and there. But besides that, it's just a movie that takes you from point A to point B. The end credit, I don't think was fairly awe-striking or whatever.
Yeah. Again, no pow.
Yeah, it was something where it's like, this is the end credit, and yeah, it's happening, which we already knew.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I people will debate whether it was good or bad or great, but I pretty much guarantee one thing: you will not see theater reactions to this movie like on YouTube, because there isn't really anything where people are cheering or anything like that.
Let's go to our next one, and that's number 7, a last minute edition. And when I say last minute edition, I mean the last couple of minutes before we started the show edition. Gunslinger Spawn 18. This book came out in 2024 for Image Comics. The raw is going for $20. That was the last recorded sale, and the fair market value. A 9.8 is going for about $36. This was not on Key Collector. It was not on CBSI. And it snuck its way into CovrPrice at number 7. It snuck its way into this list because of the sales volume is at 130%. And dare I say it, Mark Spears' hype level is actually dropping. And this one's a medium. They're just, now the books are starting to, show up, Shane. Yeah. We talked about it, and now they're starting to show up. And this is just happens to be another one that's been sitting there waiting for collectors to grab it.
Yep, and it's fairly simple. Like we talked about, I went into my shop the Wednesday after this, and it was there just in the bins, so I picked it up. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of these sales. People are finding them in the stores and realizing it's a Spears cover.
Yeah, and they're buying them online because these sales figures that we have here, they're coming from online sales. They're not coming from LCSs. We don't have information about LCS sales. So the book is getting its attention largely because of Mark Spears, and that's really the only reason why this book is in this list here. The Mark Spears effect is real.
Yeah.
It really is. Let's take a look at our next book in number 6. And this is another one that was on our list last week, and it creeped its way back in the list again. Um, this book came out in 1979 from Marvel Comics. The Raw last sold for $22, and the fair market value of this comic is $17 for a Raw, while it's $199 for a graded 9.6. It was on the trendy list only for CovrPrice, and it ranked at number 10. Sales volume is at 106%, and the hype level is high. Same thing, Shane. Fantastic Four Spec.
Yep. Everybody's seen a trailer by now and has seen Herbie in it. I'm still reserving judgment. I can't decide about the Thing. I haven't watched them for a long time, like the other movies. There's just something with the Thing and his voice. I'm still getting used to.
It is the voice because he looks like the Thing. There's no denying that he looks like the Thing. And what bothers me about it's not the actor, because I think the actor is a great actor. What bothers me is that why is it that he doesn't have his classic Brooklyn accent? Because many people who know the comics know that the Thing is based off of Jack Kirby and the character of Jack Kirby, who had a very strong Brooklyn accent. And that's missing in this movie.
I think most of the time that he's written with that accent as well. I mean, again, I'm not a huge Fantastic Four reader, but the times I remember reading the Thing, I'm pretty sure that's how it was written. But yeah, you're right. You're right about that. The accent could be it, and they could have probably just made it a little bit more gravelly.
Yeah, just give me Jack Kirby's voice in some way, you know? It's clobbering time, that kind of stuff. And I think that's the hard part for me. As far as this book goes, this is the first written work of John Byrne in Fantastic Four. It is the first appearance of Herbie. It's a fun book. You could get it at a good price, so that's why the book sells. It doesn't go past $20, and it probably won't.
Yeah, I mean, unless Herbie somehow saves the universe in this movie, and everybody loves him so much they want to buy it, it's probably a $20 book.
Yeah, exactly. So there you have it. Number 6 is Fantastic Four 209. Our next book is The Sentry. This book came out in 2000 from Marvel Comics. Last recorded sale of this book was $130 at 9.4. Fair market value of this book is at $82. Raw 9.8 goes for about $285. It is number 1 on Key Collector, number 2 on CBSI. It didn't make it to CovrPrice. Sales volume, this book's at 46%, but the hype level is high for this book. We're getting ready for some Thunderbolts, man. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so they've had a couple of trailers, and the latest trailer shows a little bit more of what everybody is believing to be the Sentry. So they're seeking out this book, and it's got a pretty cool looking cover for that character as well, with the all black and the kind of light in the middle. So it is a cool cover. We'll wait and see. I did see the trailer was in Captain America as well, the extended trailer, and it looks good. I love the Red Guardian character, David Harbour. I think he's awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing him do that role again.
Yeah, I agree. And we did get to see a silhouette of the Sentry. So they're not revealing his actual costume, maybe because they're not prepared to show it just yet. We know he's there. We know the character exists. The version that we saw in the trailer is most likely to the Void, which is his alter ego that he has. So I'm excited for the Thunderbolts. It looks like a fun movie. And that's what I like. A good, fun movie. So there you have it. The Sentry at number 5. At number 4, is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man #1. This came out in 2025 from Marvel Comics. $13 is the raw, and that's the last recorded sale. Fair market value of this book's up $14. There are no recorded slabs as of yet. On the trending list, it came in #8 for CovrPrice. The sales value of this book is very high because it is a new book at 141%. The hype level is high. All right, we talked a little bit about it last week. We've seen a couple of more episodes. What's your take now?
Izzy, it just gets better and better, the show. Not going to spoil it. There's major characters that are showing up. You're getting stuff put in place. You know, like all the stuff with Norman Osborn is kind of happening, and you're really starting to see a little bit of a shift there in the last couple episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And the teaser at the end of the latest episode came out last week, so it's a week old. You get the classic costume most likely is going to be in the next episode. Mm-hmm. And so that's what's driving this book, I think, with the hype is the show is so good. And it appeals to younger audiences, so people are looking for it.
Yeah, it has this we haven't seen any major villains until now in the show, but what we've seen is like his relationship with Norman Osborn. And I'm starting to enjoy their relationship because Norman is so obsessed with making sure that he, you know, I don't know if the word is controls Spider-Man as much as he's trying to assist Spider-Man right now. The last episode I saw was the one with all the costume changes, which is a callback for those of you who don't know to a storyline from Civil War where Spider-Man had to change his identity, and every single costume you had was those costumes. So I'm a little shocked those books didn't get some kind of spec on them because of the cartoon. So maybe they are getting an uptick in sales. They're dollar bin books, the slingers as they ended up becoming afterwards. And it's a fun show. It really is. It's a fun show. I love the characterization of Peter. I'm looking forward to see what they do with Amadeus Cho because I'm most excited about that character. And of course, the chemistry between Norman and Peter is something that I didn't expect to enjoy, especially at one scene when Peter shows up and Norman's there, and then Harry's there, and Norman literally did one of the.
You're in for a treat, Izzy, because the past Wednesday, so the ones you haven't seen, I think they dropped 3 episodes.
Yeah,
and there is a lot of meat in those episodes. I think you're going to like them. Mm-hmm. And then we'll be able to talk more next week. I won't ruin anything for you.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at #3. Fantastic Four 49. This book came out in 1966 from Marvel Comics. The last recorded sale was 1,000 at a 6.0. Fair market value of this book is at 626, and that's in a very good grade. $573 for a 4.5, and that's the average. Trending list is not on Key Collector, but it came in #1 on CBSI. It did not make CovrPrice. Sales volume, this book is at 81%, which is quite shocking for a book that demands that much money. Hype level of a high. Another classic cover, classic Kirby, first true appearance of Galactus. I want to see this scene in the movie. This is what I want to see.
You know, if you take the trailer and that little shadow they showed, they could be moving in to take this shot. You never know.
It could be, right?
I can't wait to see how they do the big guy in this movie because he's just so ridiculous looking, but so cool at the same time. So
what I want to hear is the voice, because the actor that he picked, his voice has gravitas. And you know, we talk a little bit about the Thing's voice, but man, get Galactus' voice, get that deep voice where like when he speaks, you stop and listen. So definitely looking forward to this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Let's go with #2. And Mark Spears hits it again. Spawn 356. The Mark Spears variant. This book came out in 2024 for Image Comics. The Raw last sold for $20 Fair market value of this book is at $31 raw. However, the 9.6 are still sticking at that $56, which I'm a little shocked by. I guess because there's no one's really trying to sell their 9.8s. They exist. They're out there, but they're not. I guess no one's really selling them. Those who have them kept it. It came in number 4 in CBSI. The real kicker here is the sales volume of 194%, making this hype level at a high for this book.
Yeah, I have a sales alert on eBay for a slab copy of this in Canada, and there hasn't been anything since last week. Like there's nothing up right now. There's plenty of raw copies for sale. But again, this is another one that I went into my shop after we talked about it and got lucky it was there. I think I paid $20 or $25 Canadian for it. So got a good deal.
Wow. This is shocking. So it turns out there isn't as many books yet. And that's why the book is still at a $56. So as of right now, there are 9.8. In fact, there's a total of 13 9.8s in the census of this cover. There's one 9.6, and that's it. We got 14 slabs.
Oh, wow. I might have to send mine in then.
Yeah. There's only 14 slabs of this book, and therefore the people that have them are holding on to them.
Or they're just all being sent.
Yeah, they're probably we'll probably talk about this in February. We might see an uptick of this book, but as of right now, 14 books are in the census. That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Good stuff. All right, let's take a look at number 1 in our list, and that is Hulk number 1. This book came out in 2008, Marvel Comics. $40 raw was the last sale. Fair market value of this book is at $72 raw, while 9.8s are going for $231. It's number 3 on Key Collector, number 3 in CBSI, and it didn't make the cover price list, but that sales volume of 137% and the hype of a high put this book on the top of the list at number 1. Okay, now that we talked a little bit about the movie, let's talk a little bit about Red Hulk's appearance in the movie, because it's no surprise, no secret that he's in the movie. What is your take on Red Hulk in this movie?
So I was going to ask you about this as well, actually. I thought the effects looked good because, nowadays, for whatever reason, effects are worse than they were 10 years ago. But the effects look good. I liked the look of Harrison Ford. Like, you could tell that it was based on him.
Yeah.
I liked all the movements and the energy, but there was just something that I haven't been able to put my finger on yet that was just a little bit off from Mark Ruffalo's Hulk in all the movies he was in. There's just something that I can't quite place.
Yeah. Now, to your point, the CGI on Red Hulk was fine. And I think anything that had Red Hulk in it looked good. The fight scene was... I didn't fully believe it, if that makes sense, because I just felt that, Captain America, Falcon, he has no powers. How could he go toe-to-toe with this character, even though he didn't really truly fight him? And another thing I noticed with the Red Hulk was he was vulnerable to the shots fired. Like, they didn't affect him like they would the Hulk. They would just bounce off the Hulk. He actually absorbed a lot of the hits that he was getting, which was really different about it. The movie in itself had, my opinion on the CGI was bad on certain times. There was moments in the movie where you could clearly see the two people were talking were not in the same room. And you caught that a couple of times. There was even this one scene where Sam is talking to Ross and the volume drastically goes higher. Like, I caught that. And it threw me off. So the movie in itself threw me off a couple of times when it came to the CGI. And usually I excuse movies where that the CGI is bad, but I don't excuse a movie that has the money for it. You get what I'm saying? It's kind of like with the Flash movie where the scenes like, no, you got the money to make this look right.
Oh
You're
yeah,
just
the
not.
Flash. Oof. It
Yeah, exactly.
looked like video game thing, that
Mhm.
whole Batman chase.
Yeah. So that was the thing that I noticed about it. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. Like I said, like we talked about it beforehand. And I think this book is. You probably won't see it at number one next week because I think the train's gone. That's the list for this week. What's your thoughts on the ranking system? Which books do you have? Share your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for next week. It could be a crazy one. Make sure you hit that like, that subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And we'll see you at the next trending list. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more comic content. Check out these other videos for even more insight. And I'll see you at the next one. Excelsior.